Hi, this is Cecilia from Tarot by Cecilia, and this is your weekly tarot guidance for the week of April 17th through the 23rd of 2017. So, how is retrograde season going for you? We have a lot going on. Now, as we begin the week, we only have 3 retrograde planets. So let's see what's going on this week, shall we? On the 19th, the sun will enter the sign of Taurus. On the 20th, it didn't take long, Pluto will retrograde, and that will be through September 28th. Pluto does this every year, and, it's not one of the complicated ones like Mars or Venus that we worry about as much, but nonetheless, it's retrograde, and we will have things to talk about with that. Be sure to check out my Pluto retrograde audio on Patreon that pertains to it. Also on the 20th, retrograde Mercury will enter Aries. In other words, it's still going backward, and it will go back into the sign of Aries. On the 21st, Mars will enter Gemini. Here again, just like the sun in Taurus, Pluto retrograde, Mars in Gemini will also have its own audio on Patreon. But what I will say about the energy is that it is a little more scattered, and you may not be able to find that tunnel vision focus on your projects that you may have had with Mars and Taurus. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I have to give you credit because whatever is going on in your own particular life, you can still dare to dream. Okay? Only thing is there's a little bit of confusion around those dreams. And that's because of all of the retrograde energy. Don't let it get to you. In due time, things will become clearer, and you will be able to manifest, what you're looking for. We've talked about this, all right? That like March, April, May, from the equinox to to the solstice in June, basically 3 months. And I really think that that's when you actually start to move forward toward those hopes and dreams. They are not a reality at that time, but you're off to pursue them. And that's such a big difference. Right now, you're still trying to figure it all out because there are still things in your life that are out of balance. But that's where your wishes come in. That wishing for that particular fulfillment, how to make life fair, how to balance it out. You are managing to do this even if it can't be seen. And that's something that you kind of really just have to, let those fears go. That you think it's not working out because it really is. All right? It will show itself to you when the timing is right. Now, what we're talking about this week, there's a great deal that has to do with balance here. Balance and clarity and things suddenly being revealed. I mean, I think it's a very interesting week, to say the least. One of the things that we've noticed in the last few weeks here is that there's simply no time to be idle. There is a great deal to do, and some of it just crops up out of the blue, all right? Things you need to take care of. But what I'm seeing here is that you can handle it, all right? In spite of any, ripples that you might be feeling and going, oh my goodness, what just happened? But here's the thing. Your reactions to things now are so different than they were a couple of years ago. Things come up. They come up out of the blue. They take you by surprise. And yet you manage to juggle and figure it out. Big, big difference. If you need help in figuring it out, you now know where to seek the right advice. That's good. And it's also, it's part of the adventure. And that's interesting because you don't get all bogged down by things anymore. Not like you used to. It was so heavy there for a few years, especially with, Saturn and Scorpio and all that kind of stuff, and the Pluto-Uranus squares. That was just like, ugh. But now, things happen, and you can manage to devote enough time to each thing. Keep things going. This is good. This is very good. With some of these energies this week, all right, Pluto going retrograde, Mercury going back into Aries, a little more, pushy in the conversation, okay? And as I said, with Mars in Gemini, a little more scattered. And I'll tell you what, this is how it feels. It's sort of all over the place. There is a lot happening. There is a lot being said. Where you are in all of this, some of it pertains to relationships. There's so many things that I want to say here. It feels as though there is some form of exposure because there's words that are flying, all right? I wouldn't doubt that maybe not all of you, but many of you will experience, I don't want to call it a battle, but I do believe that people are arguing. Like things just erupt. Okay. It's just crazy. Like I said, it could be that those energies going on. So things are kind of all over the place, and what you experience is going to depend upon other variables. But where you're at with this, you can't magically make it all go away. But if it is not you and it does not pertain to you, bite your tongue, okay? Because it could be far too stressful dealing with whatever's going on. Because this could be someone else's issues and it's playing out around you. And you're like, my goodness, what just happened? All right? This is crazy. It's like all hell broke loose. And you're like, oh my word. Okay? So that's the thing. Do you need to engage? Are you part of this battle? Is it your battle to fight? Ask yourself that. What is the truth of the situation as far as where you stand? And that will help you decide which way you need to go. Because, you're getting too close to where you want to head to. It's not, it's kind of, you got a couple months of just, trying to keep the peace type of thing. So it's a very interesting week. Still with the confusion. All right. It isn't time to decide. This is what you have to remember. It's almost like with certain things, when you hit retrograde season, it's like you're in a little bit of a limbo. Okay. Things feel stalled. They feel like they're at an impasse. That doesn't mean that other things aren't going to move, because your life isn't all about one thing. That's the part that you have to remember. And that's one of the things that I think I mention very frequently, is that you have to realize it breaks down into various categories. But if you spend all day, every day thinking, oh, I just want to be with that guy, where is that getting you? Seriously, okay? What about your job, your home, your family, the rest of your life? These are all the other things that are happening right now. And they're the things you need to be paying attention to. Okay? If anything's meant to happen with someone else, later will be a better time. Not right now. This is the worst possible time that you could choose. Even though Venus is going direct, Mercury's retrograde, and Venus will still be in shadow until May 17th. So, forget all that, because some of these scenarios that are playing out, they can be, arguments in relationships and things. And if you're really trying to push something where the timing is wrong, you're only going to instill that further, like instigating arguments. And that's not a good thing. So try to keep your focus in the places that it needs to be, not somewhere that you can't fix right now. That's important to remember. I think too many people get that way, where all they can see is that that's what I want, and they have blinders on pertaining to everything else in their life, and that's what causes all the problems. Some of the energy this week has that I want to call it like a push me, pull me feel to it. Okay, it's like you want to go forward, but you're kind of like, wait. Like every once in a while, I talk about like one of the movies, like, it could be Indiana Jones or any of those kind of archaeological type movies where you always see the guy that's got to run back in like, yeah, I want to go with you guys, but I need to fill my pockets with gold. Do you? Do you really? It's like, I want all this. And this is what's holding you up, and this is what's messing you up. You're losing control trying to hang on to things that really aren't as important. This is a crazy week with energy, because it's almost like, I want to say like the various energies are almost what are battling, okay? Because you have like the energy that doesn't want to budge is probably the sun going into Taurus. But the energy that's all over the place wanting to do things everywhere is probably Mars and Gemini. So you have all these things that you're experiencing, and you have to really try to chill. Like, listen to that inner voice and try to keep a handle on it, because you still need to be proceeding slowly. If you want to make things happen, if you want to, achieve your victories, it's here. You've only got a couple of months to go. If you can keep it all together, the possibilities this week are endless. You can see new doors open. You can take control of things of your life, but not in a possessive way. All right, remember that. It has to be just your life, not over anyone else, because possessiveness is really rampant here, and it's not a good thing, okay? But there is, the ability for abundance and manifestation. It's all here, but it's knowing that the timing is probably not this week. Now, we've been talking for some time about the new life that doesn't have any parts of the old life in it. At least the ones that, you can not have in it. In other words, if you had to get a divorce, but you have children, so maybe you occasionally still have to deal with your ex. That's a little bit different, but the situation and how it's being handled by the time we get to October is so different that you're okay with it. That's what I'm saying. It's like the view you have of your life and how happy you can be really wants to change. All right? You can work on decisions right now, but I don't think that you can totally see what they should be. All right? More like late May, early June. Let's wait for a couple of these planets to switch signs again where they're not in detriment. Let's put it that way. So, to me, this part of the journey, once you get past it, I'm telling you, I keep saying May 22nd, there will be on Patreon a number of special audios dealing with all of the energies that are, around, all of the energies that are coming, and all of the themes in how life is going here. So, your responsibilities, you kind of just need to keep trudging along at this point. There is no choice, all right? But the changes, August is our big deal of a month. Every year we probably have one month that we could just say stands out over all the rest, and it's a game changer. When we get to August this year, it's amplified more so than in any recent years. Okay, that's your turning point. So you see all this scattered energy that's all over the place this week. You need to keep your focus. You need to keep your eye on that prize. Not the prize, like I said, like the focusing on one thing. You need to keep it ahead on the future and all of the things in your life that you need to be working out. So it's interesting. There's persistence that's necessary. And a great deal of hard work. A lot of hard work, okay? I've mentioned before how you need, I want to say like good plans with others involved, okay? See, right now, with Mercury retrograde, I don't know how many things, little things that I notice that go wrong in a day, but double, triple, check all of your work, everything you're doing. You know, that's what this is showing. This time is really that, you know, it's extra effort, but the extra effort is worth it. It really, truly is. It bothers me that this week feels confusing. Okay? And I'm not sure as to why. All right? It's all coming. And the best thing that you can do for yourself is to remain grounded, not focused on things that have been painful. See, there's that word betrayal wants to come up again. But I think that you've been aware of the betrayal, and that's where maybe the confusion is coming in, because you haven't been able to figure out how to get around it, above it, past it. You will. Remember that. You most definitely will. That's what's coming. You just have to keep working at it. I know it's hard with what can't be seen, but your new beginnings are coming. Everything, you know what's interesting? Look at how far we've come now. And it's mostly been 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. And what I'm seeing here today is 2. All right? We're making it a whole lot further. It's somewhere, like if we start in late May, where you can finally see, then that first week in June, like the first 10 days, there's a nice switch. And we are entering into a new phase, a whole new cycle. And I want you to watch from, let me see, May 10th onward to see what shifts are taking place in your life. You may not notice them right away until you get past May 22nd and see how things, you know, when you can finally see things. But you're going to notice that the themes of what's going on in your life are different. So here you are with all these things. This is a really, it's a crazy kind of a week, okay? And you need to really have a handle on this. You know, like, I want to say be able to work your magic in a creative fashion. You know, if there are people, because it feels like there's challenges. It feels like not as much that people are at odds. I think that there's actual, like, things just crop up. Like, what is going on? And it presents challenges. Now, it could be someone else's challenge, but it may affect you. And you may have to be the one to step up and help this other person out. It's crazy stuff, all right? And you don't hear me say that. But this is really, like, you're just going to know it. You're going to go, what just happened? So, with that being said, do your best to get some rest. And we'll meet here again next week. I want to thank you all very much for listening. Have a great week, everyone. Take care.